What's going on, y'all? Live from Houston, Texas, here to answer your immigration questions to solve your problem or hopefully prevent them in the first place. Friends, my name is John Ting, immigration lawyer in Houston, Texas with Ting Law Group. Let me know in the comments if drop in the comments any questions. Happy to answer for you. And today's topic is about affidavit of support. It's the form, when you're applying for a green card for residency. Now, we've been getting some calls about this recently where you're eligible to apply for residency. And you know that there's, a stumbling block that because you might not have enough income, or let's say you're the foreign national and your sponsor, your U.S. citizen spouse or parent may not have enough funds now, or may not have enough funds in the sense that you don't have a current job that has that can show enough. Okay, so we're going to show you the chart in a bit, the USCIS calls minimum poverty guidelines, but I want to share some solutions to the problem. But let me go ahead and share the chart. In the meantime, while I get this ready, if let me know where you're watching from. I think it's always interesting to know how far the YouTube channels are reached. Okay, we do offer a free 15-minute preliminary discussion for y'all YouTube subscribers, followers. We greatly appreciate it. Or if you're watching on Facebook as well, we do offer that because of you watching our channel. So we greatly appreciate it. And we're going to share the secret code so you can unlock those free 15 minutes. And we'll share it towards the end of the show. But if you're just tuning in and you're wondering how to contact us, but you don't have time to call, but our number is right up here. You can text us. We have WhatsApp using this. Actually, WhatsApp is not that number, but WhatsApp, we have 346-330-5888. So I should write that down somewhere. Okay, there it is. That's our WhatsApp number. And so we'll share the secret code in a bit. The other thing is, let's see. Okay, poverty guidelines. Okay, I hate that they call it this, but there's a lot of questions related to it. But let me go and just share what it looks like to begin with. Because there's a lot of y'all that, again, you may be eligible for something like this. And let's see. I mean, for residency, for a green card. But then you're thinking, well, shoot, maybe my sponsor doesn't have a job right now. Even if you have a job as a foreign national, unfortunately, your income does not count unless you have a valid work permit. Okay, so for those that have DACA or TPS, you have a valid work permit. Or if you're an asylum seeker, you have you filed for asylum, you do have a valid work permit. Okay, but other scenarios, because we get calls like this, and people think, okay, well, my sponsor doesn't have a job, and you're thinking that might stop you. Well, here, let's take a look. I'll just show you in general. Sponsors household size of 2. Let's say it's a spouse case, and you don't have any children, no dependents on your tax return. Then it's just 2 people. Okay. Then if you're not in the military, okay, then you skip the middle. It won't let me go all the way down, just the column, but skip the middle column here, and then you go to the right side where it says 125%. Okay. I think most of y'all know how to take a look at this. If you just Google search, it's 864p, and it should pop right up the first page. But of course, when you're searching for things, especially related to law, be careful which one you click. Okay. Because, there could be all these private companies not trying to pretend to be the government website, but you just want to be mindful. Or maybe they are. I don't know. But anyways, household size of 2, 22,887, right? And that's typically probably without any kids, no dependents, just you and your spouse. But yeah, excuse me. I need water again. I need to have my water ready. as you have more family members or more dependents, maybe they're not your own child, but they're dependent on your tax return, then you need to go down the line here. So 22,887. Let's just use an example here. Let's say you don't have a job, or your sponsor doesn't have a job. That's okay. Okay. Here's the deal. You can use your assets. And when people think of the word assets, most people think of, um, oh, I need a house. Yeah, a house can help. Okay. Any property you may own can help. You can use the equity in that. Okay. It's not equity is the amount that you already paid into that property, for example. And so you just take the difference from you just have to look it back at your, mortgage statements and all that, how much you've already paid. And we provide those kind of documents, mortgage statement to USCIS. All right. But of course, if you don't have a lawyer, this is why I'm sharing this information so that you know what to do. So that's option one. Use the equity from your house. All right. And then, or option two, or you can use a combination of it. Use the cash or savings or stocks. That's equity technically. That's money. Okay. That's real money in your accounts or your retirement accounts. You can use that. Now, when it's a case involving, okay, a spouse, okay, then you do 3 times the amount. All right. If there's a difference, so 22,887. Let me get my calculator out here about that. Let me pull up some information about this. Okay, let me get my calculator here. Okay. Let's see. Let's say 22887, right? Household size of 2. Let's say you already have, even if you do, let's say you do have a job. Okay, let's use that example. Let's say your job pays you 21,000. Okay, so the difference is 1887. So, and by the way, it's not, even if you didn't have a job last year or even like last month, but now you have a job, that's totally fine. The government wants to know the anticipated income as if you worked for a full year. Okay, so that's very key. All right, and I know people have been getting a lot of requests for evidence based on not even marriage evidence. It's about the financial sponsorship. I think it's a bunch of baloney, but I need to start using that phrase more. A bunch of baloney from the government. But that's just another way that they're trying to stop people from getting status. So try not to take no for an answer. There's another way. The most common, I mean, let me finish this math calculation here, okay? So let's say your job pays you 21,000 and the pay stubs amount to that for the full year, calendar year. So the difference is 1887. If it's a spouse case, you times it by 3. Okay? So the difference is 1887 times 3. I don't know, can you see my, all right, it's backwards. 5661. Okay, is the times 3 difference. So in that sense, you need to show that your account, any of your cash accounts or retirement, stocks, checking or savings, you have to show the amount at least 5661. Okay, at the time that you're, let's say you're responding to requests for evidence. Now, or when you initially file your case. Okay, because if possible, you really want to provide this form 864, and if you file yourself, you want to let them know in advance. Let them know because they're going to see it that you don't have enough income in that sense. That let them know you're going to provide them this information later on when it gets closer to interview, because you don't want to get in a situation that maybe just USCIS just straight out deny your case. And that will be really, really frustrating because you already paid all these fees when it comes to residency, plus the petition form so the 485 plus the I-130. What is that? 1,760. I remember all these random fees, numbers, so don't think I'm crazy because I look at this stuff pretty much every single day. But so yeah, it can include real estate, property, but probably if you have property, there's probably not a concern for you. Um, but yeah, people could have. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a scenario like this because pandemic, you might have, some people have lost their jobs, some people got a new job, or returned to the previous job. But maybe a situation you just don't want to work. I totally get it. I've been told I got to keep working, so to help you all out. So I can't stop. But for y'all that are watching this and you just want to take a break from work, it might be okay because as long as you have, you can do the times three if it's a spouse case, or times five. It's not if it's not a spouse case, then you can, if you have that amount, then yeah, you could just chill out, take a break for a little bit. This whole like, yeah. I mean, I'm telling y'all, if you are thinking to move to America or and want to stay in America, it's we don't just chill usually. That's why this whole pandemic has really, at least speaking with friends, this has really, and clients, this has really been like eye opening. Maybe just doing other kind of work or things like that. I know a lot of lawyers are trying to think of other ways to do different type of work. Actually, it's not just the non legal field, of course, because we're on this like 24/7 clock. But I really care about my team, so we do have parameters. We typically don't answer on the weekend, okay? Unless I just happen to have a chance to look at emails or my team does. But we don't. But at the same time, we are very intentional in offering free 15-minute appointments as a client, and it's included with the flat fee. Okay, we normally 99.9% do not charge hourly rates. There's some immigration law firms that do, but we do offer three different plans. Okay, pro plan, max, and then light plan. So it lists all the services available. Max plan usually is the one that includes the attorney representation at your interview, and also to help respond to the request for evidence or knowing. Now we try our best to respond to, or not just respond, but file the case with as much proper evidence needed. Now we're not going to give them a whole stack. Okay, we're not like that kind of law firm. But I heard about some law firms that only provide the forms and maybe the marriage certificate. That's not enough. So um, we're preparing cases as if it should be approved. Okay, if there were no interview. Okay, so if y'all have any questions, please interrupt me. Welcome to do that, so I can point you in the right direction. There's a lot I can share about sponsorship, but yeah, if it's a case not involving a spouse, some of y'all have that situation where it could be maybe a parent sponsoring, or of course, depending on age, it'll be like family preference, F1 through 4, or sibling. Then it's times 5. Okay. Now, this times 3 times 5, using your assets, this is an option if you truly believe you can't find a joint sponsor, or maybe you tried to find one and your joint sponsor, your friend or family, coworker. It doesn't have to be a family member like an aunt or, a cousin or something. It could be someone random, actually. It doesn't have to be someone you know. But of course, I would think you would want to ask someone who you trust to some extent, that they know that you're going through this immigration journey, okay, with our team. So, or I mean, if you file on your own. So, but yeah, here's the other thing you need to know, that when you're prepared to ask someone to be a joint sponsor, these are hot tips right here. So, but before I get right to them, if you're just joining the channel, I want to share with you, if you're new to a channel, welcome. We do offer free 15-minute preliminary discussion, and we do share a secret code, because that's the way to unlock those free 15 minutes, and we'll share it towards the end of the show. Now, the tip number one about what to ask a joint, like someone to be a joint sponsor. The first thing is, well, maybe not to ask yet. What you need to know is verify that they're a U.S. citizen or a resident holder. Okay. Now, if they have sponsored someone recently and that person is not a U.S. citizen yet, then you have to add them. People always ask, well, can that person still sponsor? Yes, they can. But what you want to ask also is, how many people are in their household, because that counts towards the household size. So of course, if you got two friends or coworkers that are, they have good salary, a high enough salary above the guidelines here, then you ask the family or the person who has less people in their family, because then it's just always better in terms of documentation. Okay. Now, if it's apples to apples and you trust both of them and they have similar salary, yeah, ask the one that has probably less dependents. That's what we recommend, okay? Because that can save you a lot of time. Because sometimes, at least in the past, we've provided better guidelines with our clients, but in the past, a client would ask someone who has a lot of family members, but even though it may appear to be higher income maybe than yours, or your sponsor, it's still like it's way too much in terms of the government, okay, the guidelines. So that's just something to consider. Now, do you have to file the sponsor form at the same time as you file the entire case? Of course, it's preferable, but if you don't for some reason, just because of timing, don't delay filing your case in general if you have everything else ready. But just marking a letter, write to USCIS that you're going to provide your joint sponsor form when you receive a request for evidence or as soon as you get the documentation ready from your joint sponsor. And here's the deal. Just like I have the scrolling text down here at the bottom, okay, is that because there's delays all the time by the government, USCIS. There's delays. We have some now. Don't get me wrong. There's some cases, especially these days with USCIS, that a client received the EAD work permit after about 3 months from filing. Okay, because they finally, I hope they change the process. It seems they have in at least one office, but we have some clients that unfortunately they're on their case because it's older, filed it many months ago. They're still waiting on EAD. Okay, so at this point, this is when, of course, we're inquiring with USCIS on the case, but it happens. Okay, USCIS it's difficult to explain what's going on in their internal systems, but yeah, what I'm trying to say here is the mindset. Don't wait to file just because you don't have enough like the sponsored form ready or you don't have a job. There could be another solution. So hopefully my tips here in this video can help you. All right. Speaking of help and questions, we do offer guides, okay, free guides on our website, greencardguides.com. And you scroll to the bottom of the page and you have the opportunity to, provide your email, your name, and it'll take you to the next page of downloading the PDF. It has common questions, answers, because we have this available because I understand that sometimes most of y'all are working during the day, so you don't have time to call in. But at least this guy can give you some information in the meantime before you have your, next opportunity to schedule an appointment with us. Which, by the way, when we do have a chance to share that secret code, this is the way to go to our website, greencardguys.com. The first thing is go to Contact Us page, scroll down, take the free quiz, and then just answer a few questions, not too much. We don't want to have you spend too much time on it. And then it'll take you, after you click submit, it'll take you to the next page to go and schedule the free 15-minute appointment. So what we try to do at our law firm is reduce the friction, okay? Because we get a lot of calls that people say even their own attorneys that they've already hired, they can't get a hold of them. It's pretty ridiculous, I think. And that's why we're very intentional about these appointments that you can self-schedule. Even as a client, you can do that. You don't even have to call in. Or, of course, we set emails. We try our best to reply to emails in 24 to 48 hours. Yeah, there's many times where we can respond in probably less than 2 hours, but it just depends on a day with workflow. Okay. Let's see. If you have any questions, please drop in the comments here. Trying a new time at 12 o'clock noon Central, but I'm always willing to entertain other times. Let's see here. Of course, if there's hot updates, the breaking news will go live at night if we need to. Let's see here. So yeah, don't give up. Okay, even if you don't have a job, but you're wanting to sponsor someone, because yeah, we had someone. We have a client from just signed up, I believe, a couple weeks ago, and they actually wanted a refund because they thought that there was no way that the spouse needed a job. I think the spouse had got fired or had to resign for whatever reason. I can't remember the exact situation right now, scenario, but one of our attorneys was able to schedule a meeting with them and provide them these solutions that suggestions legal suggestions that I just shared with you. Okay, so don't give up. You might have an opportunity to actually still get residency, the green card, because in this, I think this client's situation, they've already been married for a couple years. So the great thing, by the way, another tip that was not part of this, but if you've been married for a couple of years already, past 2 year mark, you can obtain the 10-year card, permanent resident card. Okay, I don't usually dance like that, but it's very exciting. Okay, in my opinion, if you've already been married, I know most people when they get married and they know they need legal status ASAP, they usually want to file within like a month or two. But for those who have been, taking it easy, just chilling out, and already past the 2 year mark, that's great news for you. You don't have to go through this process of getting a conditional resident card, which is valid for 2 years. Then you don't have to, quote unquote, remove those conditions. That saves you a lot of money and time. So don't give up. Okay. Uh, if you're that client that we're referring to, I'm glad that you had a chance to speak with one of our attorneys on that. Because we do have clients that actually don't watch our show, so I greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. What else to share with you? We also have a Facebook group called Green Card Guys Academy, where we're going to start sharing more and more information, including visa statistics. Okay, this is it's not, it's helpful to know, especially how soon your consular embassy, how many cases they're getting cases going interview wise, and then issued out the visa, because we get a lot of questions about what's up with my case, where are we at in my case, can we inquire? So, but at the same time, unfortunately, it goes past the reasonableness of the processing time. So if it reaches past where it becomes, well, we have a chart like it's unreasonable. Let's just say, for example, it's been 2 years or even at least a year, and I mean, at least a year in DQ, documentarily qualified, and you're abroad. We just had some great news on that similar case where they already had the interview last year. This is for fiance visa. Last year in Poland, okay? And it's ridiculous. Okay. The government, we've had also cases where they had an interview maybe even 3 months ago and we filed a lawsuit. It's possible. Okay. Somehow, conveniently, these officers, okay, I'm sure they have a lot of cases to review, but somehow, like after they send a 221G notice or a request for more information, there's another blooper for you. DS 5535 form, and you provide it very timely. Probably a lot of people that call us, they provide it in the same day or the next day, and you're still waiting months to hear back. Now, for employment type cases, if you have the visa interview, you're obviously like H-1B, you already had it approved many months ago. They're probably using the excuse, and legitimately, in some scenarios, they actually do a site visit, okay, to the employer's location, which, in my opinion, is just silly, depending on the scenario, of course. So, especially if the employer didn't have any negative situation in the past. Okay, but there's a lot of different scenarios where you might want to consider filing a lawsuit. Okay, it's called mandamus lawsuit. That's what most lawyers refer to it as. It could be for delays, unreasonable delays, or it could be for what we call arbitrary and capricious decision. Another word you could consider is like the U.S. government made a huge mistake, or they denied me when they should not have. You were eligible for everything. Okay, you're qualified and eligible. And especially if the government didn't tell you a reason why you were denied. That's super frustrating. I get it. Anyway, the winning story that we had last week, our clients from Poland. I'm sorry, I believe, yeah, she's from Russia, but she had the interview in Poland. She was able to get that visa issued. So that's wonderful news. And so hopefully we can help you. But hopefully you don't have to suffer these ridiculous delays. I really hope you don't have to file a lawsuit, but if you need to, if your case is delaying for too long, you need to take action. At least ask us some questions. We're happy to answer it. The most common one that people ask is, will filing a lawsuit affect your case? Look, if they wanted to deny your case or not issue a visa indefinitely, then they would have done it. Okay. So, especially for those folks, if you're already in that visa refusal stage, that doesn't mean you can't file a lawsuit. You still can, especially if it was a 221G, you already provide the documents. And we've had some clients call us and hire us because they provide the same documents and more documents about their birth certificate, that they were born in America as a sponsor. It's just getting ridiculous. Okay, friends. Because, for example, in that kind of scenario, USCIS already issued out a request for evidence asking for the same information. So this is a scenario where it may be a good opportunity for you to call us and ask questions if this is a good idea for your case. But just in general, yeah, it does not affect your case and receive a negative decision just because you file a lawsuit. Okay, they would have done that already if they didn't want to approve your case. So hopefully that helps. And it seems like at least 50% of our clients, it's not necessarily because they had anything negative on, well, actually, in terms of negative reasons, it's none of our cases. It's mostly because the government conveniently misplaced your file. I actually had USCIS tell me one time back in the day when we were able to email them directly at the field office. They told me one time that I had a client, my client's file was stuck with another person's file that had the same name, same date of birth, and somehow the same A number. Yeah, I call BS flag on that one. So, anyways, what can we do now? Complain? That's not going to do anything in that kind of situation. And so it's better to, yeah, in that scenario, actually, that was delayed because client was not able to get the medical exam in time, okay, for the interview. So, lesson learned. If you have an interview, another hot tip here. If you have an interview coming up and you have not provided the medical exam um, in a prior submission or request for evidence, because sometimes they'll send you a courtesy letter saying, it's not necessarily RFE, but they'll say bring it to the interview. Then and you receive that interview notice, okay, call the clinic ASAP, okay? The uscs.gov website does have a section where you just type in, I think it's tools and resources. You type in your, let's see if I can go to the page for you. Okay, so I clicked on tools on the right side, then click on tools and resources. Find a doctor, okay? Locators, find a doctor, and you just type in your zip code. I mean, you could type your address, but just typing zip code is sufficient in my opinion. And then after you click search, it'll bring up the ones that are closer to you. Sorry, it's a little small. But yeah, that's how it looks. All right, because if you don't do that, your case file might get stuck again, just like my old clients from like years ago. So that's why, for example, in our workflow, when we're sharing information to clients many and several months in advance who did not provide a medical exam, we just go ahead and tell people, go ahead and apply, get that medical exam because now it's valid for at least 2 years. Okay, it used to be where it was only valid for 1 year. So that's why strategically in the past, some law firms would say don't provide a medical exam yet. Okay, just because cases weren't taking 12 months or less, and it's still not. But hey, other good news. We had a client out in here in Houston area. We help apply for naturalization, become a U.S. citizen, and it took about less than 5 months. If I can pull that up, I'm pretty sure it was actually less than that. Let me see here. I don't want to. Now, here's the deal. Even though I'm sharing these great news, that the timing to get the interview for like naturalization was, really good, great. Um, that's all it is. I can't. This is not promising that you'll get the same outcome in your case, but I can tell you this at least, and that is, we prepare cases, okay, as if it needs to be, um, it could be approved on the spot as soon as the officer reviews it. Okay, that's how we prepare these cases, these files. Okay, and so that's a type of law firm. If you're considering which kind of law firm to hire, you need to ask these kind of questions, like how do you prepare your package? What's the best way to contact you? Can I schedule an appointment? What are the ways to schedule an appointment without even having to call you guys? Because, you hear of lawyers that take a long time. Speaking of a long time, I'm going to go ahead and share the secret code now. We just reached 30 minutes. Oh, no, not that one. Here you go. Benefits of hiring us, like I've been talking about. And here's a secret code down at the bottom left of your screen, green card guys. Use that code, share it with our cares team when you first call in, and they can help you schedule you for free 15 minutes. Now, because we do get a lot of calls and we're booked up, we might not be able to, the cares team might not be able to schedule everyone. I'm sorry. I wish we really had the time to help as many people as possible. But if we're not able to help you or schedule you, I'm sorry. We were happy to see if we can refer you to another lawyer. Um, but yeah, we do have, for most case application types, we do have a free guide that we can share with you that might not be on the website. So that could be another way that we can help you in that sense, point you in the right direction. But so yeah, it's not for every person that calls does receive a consultation with an attorney. And I'm sorry, we just we're growing, but we just want to grow at a right pace. We do appreciate your calls and questions. Let's see here. But yeah, that client oh yeah, that was, if I'm counting the days correctly, that was about, yeah, three months after filing the case. That's pretty amazing. Okay. Yeah, we filed it. If I get, today's October 24th, we filed it. The USCIS received it August 11th, and he's having his interview in Houston, Texas. Okay. So that kind of give you an idea. Yeah, September, October. Oh yeah, that's like 3 months, basically. That's amazing. So that's why we take pretty good notes. My memory's not as good as I thought. Okay. But hopefully we can help you, point you in the right direction, friends. So here's our number if you need to contact us or go to a website, Green Card Guys. I hope the tips that we share with you were helpful. There's of course probably so many other ways that you can go around the sponsorship situation. But takeaway here is don't give up. You might be able to still properly show more money, cash, than what your sponsor can show. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And I wish you a wonderful day. Take care.